It was exactly 11:47 p.m. when Maya received the voice note. She was lying in bed scrolling through social media when her phone vibrated. The sender's name made her sit upright instantly. Sarah. Maya frowned. That couldn't be right. Sarah had been dead for 3 months. Her best friend had died in a tragic car accident on a rainy night outside Lagos. Maya herself had attended the funeral. She had watched the coffin lowered into the ground. Yet there it was, a brand new voice note, sent 1 minute ago. Her hands trembled. For several seconds, she simply stared at the screen. Maybe someone had gained access to Sarah's account. Maybe it was a cruel joke. Trying to calm herself, she pressed play. At first, there was only static.
Then came a terrified whisper. Maya, if you're hearing this, don't let them find you. Maya froze. It was Sarah's voice. Not similar, not close, exactly Sarah. The same laugh, the same accent, the same way she pronounced Maya's name. Maya felt her heart pounding against her ribs. Then the voice continued. They lied about everything. I'm not dead. The recording suddenly ended. Silence filled the room. Maya's phone slipped from her hand and landed on the blanket. She couldn't breathe. This had to be fake. It had to be. But deep down she knew. Something was wrong.
You have to get out.
Very wrong. She immediately called the number. No answer. Again. No answer. Then, on the third attempt, someone picked up. Maya sat frozen. The line crackled. She had breathing. Slow. Heavy. But nobody spoke. Hello? Maya whispered. The breathing continued. Who is this? Still nothing. Then a man's voice suddenly said, Stop looking for Sarah. The call disconnected. Maya nearly dropped her phone. Her blood ran cold. How did this stranger know what she was doing? And why did he sound so threatening? Unable to sleep, Maya replayed the voice note dozens of times. Each time she became more convinced.
Hello?
It was Sarah.
Who is this?
The next morning, she
Leave me
drove
alone.
straight
I don't know
to the
what you're
cemetery.
talking about.
The sky was grey and heavy with clouds. A cold wind swept through the rows of graves. Sarah's grave was exactly where Maya remembered. Fresh flowers sat beside the headstone. Maya frowned. That was strange. Nobody in Sarah's family had visited in weeks. She knelt beside the grave. Then she noticed something. A small folded piece of paper hidden beneath the flowers. Her hands shook as she unfolded it. 3 words were written in black ink. Check the storage. Maya stared at the note. Storage? What storage? Then she remembered. Years ago, Sarah had rented a small storage unit on the outskirts of the city. She used it to keep old photography equipment. Nobody else knew about it. At least, nobody should have. Within an hour, Maya was standing outside the dusty storage facility. The manager checked his records. Unit 118, he said. Still registered under Sarah's name? Maya felt chills. How was that possible? If Sarah was dead, why hadn't anyone closed it? The manager handed her a spare key. The metal door groaned as she rolled it upward. boxes stacked from floor to ceiling. And in the center sat a laptop. Its screen was already on, waiting, as if someone knew she was coming. Maya slowly approached. A video file automatically opened. The date stunned her. Recorded 4 days ago. The screen flickered. Then Sarah appeared.
Alive, breathing, looking terrified. Maya, if you're watching this, they found me. Maya gasped. Sarah looked over her shoulder repeatedly, as if someone was watching. There isn't much time. Tears streamed down Maya's face. This was impossible. Sarah leaned closer to the camera. The accident was staged. A loud bang echoed in the background. Sarah jumped. Then she whispered, "They're killing anyone who knows the truth." Another loud noise. Closer this time. Sarah looked directly into the camera. "If something happens to me, trust nobody." The screen suddenly went black. Behind Maya, something moved. A shadow. She spun around. Nobody was there. But the storage door was slowly closing by itself. Maya ran towards it. Too late. The metal door slammed shut. Darkness swallowed the room. Then she heard footsteps. Not outside. Inside. Somewhere among the boxes. Slow. Deliberate. Coming closer. Maya held her breath. One step. Another. Another. Then a voice emerged from the darkness. A voice she recognized instantly. A voice that should not have existed. Maya. It was Sarah. If you have watched till this point, keep watching to know whether Sarah is truly alive, who staged the accident, and the dangerous conspiracy hiding behind her disappearance. Also, please subscribe and like so you don't miss what happens next. Maya! The voice came again. Soft? Familiar? Impossible. Maya stood frozen in the darkness. Her phone flashlight shook violently in her hand as she pointed it toward the rows of boxes. The beam swept across old furniture, dusty shelves, and stacked containers. Nothing. Then the voice spoke again. "Don't shine the light." Maya's breath caught. It was Sarah. Without question. Without doubt. Slowly, a figure stepped out from behind a stack of boxes. Maya nearly screamed. Standing before her was Sarah. Alive. Thinner than before. Paler. Dark circles surrounded her eyes. Her clothes were worn and dirty. But it was her. "Maya," Sarah whispered. Tears immediately filled Maya's eyes. She ran forward and hugged her friend. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Then Maya stepped back. "No." She shook her head. "No, this can't be real." Sarah looked exhausted. "I know. They buried you." "I know. I attended your funeral." "I know." Maya's legs nearly gave out. "Then who was in the coffin?" Sarah looked away. "I don't know."
A loud noise echoed outside the storage building. Sarah instantly became alert. Her face changed. Fear replaced relief.
The vehicle stopped. 3 men stepped out, all dressed in black. One of them carried a photograph. Maya's stomach tightened. Even from a distance, she could tell whose picture it was. Hers. The men began searching. Sarah pulled Maya lower. They found us. Who are they? Sarah swallowed. The people who faked my death. Maya's heart pounded. The men moved closer. One checked between parked vehicles. We need to leave. Leave? Sarah, what is happening? I'll explain in the car. They slipped through a small emergency exit at the back of the facility. The parking lot was almost empty. Rain had started falling. As they hurried toward Maya's vehicle, Sarah suddenly grabbed her arm. Get down! Both women dropped behind a parked truck. A black SUV rolled slowly into the parking lot. Its windows were tinted. Another scanned the storage units. The third spoke into a radio. We're too late, he said. They've already been here. Sarah's eyes widened. They knew. Know what? That I contacted you. For 10 agonizing minutes, the women remained hidden. Eventually, the SUV drove away. Only then did Sarah stand. We don't have much time. Maya followed her into the car. The moment the doors locked, questions exploded from her. What is happening? Why would someone fake your death? Who are those men? Why are they looking for me? Sarah stared through the rain-covered windshield. Then she finally spoke. Do you remember the investigative photography project I was working on? Maya nodded. Months before her supposed death, Sarah had been documenting corruption involving powerful business figures. She had become obsessed with the project. Then the accident happened. I discovered something I wasn't supposed to see. What? Sarah hesitated. A private compound outside the city. Maya frowned. What kind of compound? Sarah looked terrified. The kind guarded by armed men. A flash of lightning illuminated the car. Sarah continued. I was taking photographs from a distance when I witnessed something. What? Sarah's voice became barely audible. A murder. Silence filled the car. Maya stared at her.
What do you mean? I watched them execute a man. Maya's blood ran cold. Sarah continued. I photographed everything. You went to the police? Sarah laughed bitterly. The police were already involved. Maya felt a chill race down her spine. What happened then? Sarah reached into her jacket. From an inner pocket, she pulled a tiny memory card. The evidence is on this. Maya stared at it. Such a tiny object.
Yet people were apparently willing to kill for it. Why didn't they kill you? Sarah looked out the window. They tried. A flashback seemed to cross her face. The night of the accident, someone forced my car off the road. Maya listened silently. When I woke up, I wasn't in a hospital. Where were you? Sarah's eyes filled with fear. A basement. What? They kept me there for weeks. Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. They wanted the memory card. And you didn't tell them where it was? Sarah shook her head. I hid it before the crash. Maya glanced at the tiny card in Sarah's hand. So how did you escape? Sarah's expression darkened. I didn't.
several seconds, Sarah remained silent. Then she whispered, "They let me escape." Maya's stomach dropped. What? Sarah's eyes met hers. They wanted me to lead them to the card. The realization hit Maya instantly. The storage unit, the voice notes, everything. Sarah wasn't the only target. They had used her. And now Maya was involved. At that exact moment, Maya's phone vibrated. Both women jumped. An unknown number. Maya answered cautiously.
Hello? A familiar male voice spoke. The same voice from the night before. We know where you are. The line disconnected. Sarah turned pale. A second later, headlights appeared in the distance. Not one vehicle, 3, then 4, all approaching rapidly. The black SUV had returned. And this time, they weren't searching. They knew exactly where their targets were. The chase begins, where Maya and Sarah discover that someone very close to them has been helping the men all along. Keep watching to find out who.
Then another. The chase had begun. Rain hammered the windshield. Visibility dropped. The road ahead twisted through a deserted industrial area. Maya's heart pounded so hard it hurt. Behind them, the SUVs accelerated. One moved into the opposite lane, trying to cut them off. "They are gaining on us!" Maya shouted. Sarah looked over her shoulder. "I know." A moment later, one of the SUVs rammed the back of Maya's car. The impact nearly sent them spinning. Maya fought to keep control. "Hold on!" The vehicle fishtailed across the wet road before. None of them looked concerned. One officer calmly pointed towards Maya's car. The SUVs slowed behind them. Not because they feared arrest, because they were expected. Maya's stomach dropped. The police were walking with them. "Turn!" Sarah screamed. Maya yanked the wheel. The car left the road and crashed through a broken fence. Metal screeched. Mud flew everywhere. The vehicle bounced violently across an abandoned field. Gunshots echoed behind them. One bullet shattered the passenger side mirror. Another punched through the rear door. Maya could barely think. The only thing keeping her moving was pure terror. After several minutes, the field gave way to a narrow dirt road leading into a forest. The SUVs could no longer follow easily. Eventually, the headlights disappeared. For now, Maya finally stopped. Both women sat in silence, breathing heavily. Rain tapped softly on the roof. "We can't keep running forever," Maya whispered. Sarah nodded. "I know. So, what's the plan?" Sarah stared at the memory card. "There is someone who can help." "Who?" Sarah hesitated. Then she answered. "David." Maya frowned. David was Sarah's older brother, a cybersecurity specialist, the one person Sarah trusted more than anyone. If anyone can expose them, it's him. Maya started the car again. An hour later, they arrived at David's apartment building. Every light inside was off. The place looked deserted. Sarah frowned. "That's strange." She pulled out her phone and called him. No answer. Again, no answer. A feeling of dread settled over both women. They hurried upstairs. Apartment 407. The door was slightly open. Sarah immediately froze. "David?" No response. She pushed the door. It creaked inward. The apartment had been destroyed. Furniture overturned. Glass shattered.
drawer was emptied. The entire place looked like it had been searched. Sarah ran inside. David! Nothing.
David's eyes filled with fear. The man you thought was killed. He paused, then whispered, was already dead. Maya and Sarah exchanged confused glances. David continued, what you photographed was not a murder scene. Then what was it? David looked toward the dark apartment window, as if terrified someone might hear him. Then he finally spoke. It was a body replacement. Neither woman understood. Immediately. But it's the evidence. David shook his head. No. What do you mean? For a long moment, David said nothing. Then he looked directly at Sarah. What you photographed wasn't a murder. Silence filled the room. Sarah stared at him. What? David's voice trembled. You saw something much worse. The room suddenly felt colder. What are you talking about?
What happened? David swallowed painfully. They came looking for the memory card. Sarah showed him the card. His eyes widened. You still have it? Yes. David looked terrified. We need to destroy it. Maya blinked. What? Sarah looked equally confused. Destroy it? David nodded.
Then they heard a weak sound, a groan, coming from somewhere inside the apartment. Both women followed it. The sound led to a closet. Sarah pulled the door open and screamed. David was inside, bound, bruised, barely conscious. David! They quickly untied him. His eyes slowly opened. The moment he saw Sarah, relief flooded his face. You shouldn't be here, he whispered. They know everything. Sarah helped him sit up. Then Maya noticed something. A single photograph lying on the floor, face down. She picked it up. Her blood ran cold. The photograph showed Sarah and Maya standing together at a birthday party years earlier. Someone had drawn a large red X across Maya's face. Beneath it were 3 words. You are next. Sarah stared at the message. No.
What does that mean? David swallowed. It means someone very powerful officially died 3 years ago. His voice broke. But they are still alive. At that exact moment, a slow clap echoed from the apartment doorway. Everyone turned. A man stood there, tall, well-dressed, smiling, and behind him stood 6 armed men. The stranger looked directly at Sarah, then at the memory card. His smile widened. Thank you, he said calmly. You finally brought it to me. The room fell silent. The only sound was the rain tapping against the windows. The well-dressed stranger stood in the doorway with 6 armed men behind him. Calm, confident, as if he had already won. Sarah slowly stepped in front of Maya and David. Who are you? She asked. The man smiled. You've spent months looking for answers, Sarah. He took a few steps forward. And now you're asking who I am? Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The stranger's eyes settled on the memory card. I've spent 3 years searching for that. David's face turned pale. The man noticed.
Hello, David. David lowered his head. Sarah stared at her brother. Confusion flashed across her face. Then realization. Then horror. No. David couldn't meet her eyes. No, Sarah repeated. The stranger smiled. She finally understands. Maya looked between them. What is happening? Sarah's voice trembled. You know him? David closed his eyes. For several seconds he said nothing. Then he whispered, yes. The room exploded. Sarah lunged toward her brother. You betrayed me? Tears filled her eyes. You betrayed me? David looked broken. I didn't have a choice. You always have a choice. The stranger laughed softly. Oh, that's not entirely true. Sarah shook with anger. You helped them fake my death? David's silence answered the question. Maya felt sick. Everything was unraveling. The stranger casually pulled a chair and sat down, like a man watching a play. You deserve the truth, he said. At least before everything ends. Nobody spoke. The stranger leaned forward. 3 years ago, the world watched a powerful billionaire die in a helicopter crash.